Hey, what's going on, guys? So, hey, everyone's playing their PS5s, their Xbox Series X's. I know I am right now, and it's been awesome. And I'm gonna do a couple more videos on my Series X. I really want to talk about the backwards compatibility at some point. But something huge happened this week. Basically, some people had downloaded some stuff off of Capcom's personal website and were holding it ransom, right? Capcom was like, no, we're not going to pay that. So they've been slowly leaking stuff out. Now, take all this stuff with a grain of salt, but today I want to go over this huge Capcom leak and what it could mean for games coming out of Capcom in the future. The first thing I want to do is just go over the total list, and then from there I'm going to talk about some of them specifically, how I feel about it and what I think some of these might mean. But first thing we need to do is definitely let's go over the list of what was actually released from these leakers. And well, basically the list is as follows. First off, they have Resident Evil Outrage for Q4 2021, Dragon's Dogma 2 for Q2 2022, Streetfighter 6 Q3 2022, Rockman Match, Rockman being Megaman, for Q3 2022, Resident Evil 4 Remake for Q4 2022, Onimusha New Work, which would be some kind of new game, Q4 2022, Monster Hunter 6 Q2 2023, Biohazard Apocalypse, Biohazard being Resident Evil, and that is going to be Q3 2023, Super Street Fighter 6 Q4 2023, Final Fight Remake Q2 2024, Power Stone Remake Q3 2024, Ultra Street Fighter 6 Q4 2024, Captain Commando Q4 2024, and the last but not least, Resident Evil Hank Q4 2024. So, looking at these things, there's a couple things I just want to kind of get straight off the bat, stuff I don't want to talk too much about, but just kind of like my thoughts on, and that would be, some of these like remakes and new projects. The first thing I really want to talk about, just to get it out of the way, because I don't really want to talk much about it, is the whole Street Fighter thing. You see they have Street Fighter 6, Super Street Fighter 6, Ultra Street Fighter 6, and they're all spaced out about a year apart, which, is par for the course, right? They have been doing this since Street Fighter 4, and it's been personally pissing me off since Street Fighter 4. Rather than, hey, here's the final game, they're basically making it a games as a service that you physically buy. Not a fan of that model. But there are rumors that the new Street Fighter won't be bound solely to PlayStation, so that's interesting. I don't know, I have not really liked the new direction of art for Street Fighter since 4 and on. I kind of stop at 3 as far as how I like my Street Fighters looking. But that's just me. But other stuff that's really exciting, however, like the Final Fight remake. I don't know if you guys saw my Streets of Rage 4 review, but if they do something like that, that could be amazing. That could be really, really worth checking out. I would be all in on a game like that. Another thing though is this Onimusha new work. It just says new work. So if you don't know what Onimusha is, Onimusha is the samurai version of Resident Evil, just like Devil May Cry is the action version of Resident Evil. It originally had tank controls, samurai characters. The original series had 4 entries. I have them all. They're fantastic. If you have not played them, I highly recommend them. They actually did a remake of Onimusha 1 for last generation, Xbox One and PS4. It's great. It's worth looking into. They're a fun series, and I have been personally wanting a new version, a new entry in the series for a long time. So very excited to hear this new work thing. But another thing that really kind of tickled my fancy is the idea of a Power Stone remake. Now, if you don't know, Power Stone 1 and 2 are the 3D version of Smash Brothers, you're kind of in an arena. They were on the Dreamcast. They're both fairly expensive Dreamcast games. However, they made a Power Stone collection on the PSP, which is awesome. And I mean, it's the best way to play it currently, easily rather. But it's, once again, this is a game that needs a comeback, and I am personally pumped for the idea of a remake. Smooth it out, clean it up. It's a very simple, very small game, so it seems like something that'd be easily doable. But out of those things, the only other one that I just kind of want to talk briefly about, I guess, would be this whole this Captain Commando. I don't know enough about the Captain Commando series, so, you guys let me know in the comments below, because my extent of Captain Commando knowledge is literally just Marvel vs. Capcom. But, out of those ones, out of the first, touch into this list, what do you guys think about some of the stuff? Like, is a new Onimusha look cool to you? Or, are you, like, really looking forward to Streetfighter 6? I mean, I know some of you guys play a lot of fighting games, so I'd really like to get your opinions on that. But now some of the stuff that I feel like I personally have like more stake in. And the first thing I really want to talk about, because there's like so much room for interpretation, is this Megaman match, or Rockman match. I have like a theory, and if that theory doesn't pan out, I have like a couple of ideas of what it could be. So the theory, and this is like a stretch, this is a real stretch, but the theory is a lot of games, when they're in development with these companies, go with nicknames, and I'm going to really hit upon that later on when we're talking Resident Evil, but they go with nicknames, and we've been talking for a while that, hey, we're ready for the next Legacy Collection games, right? And the only two left would be Legends and Battle Network. I guess technically three, there'd be Star Force, but Battle Network's probably the likely next one, and this is why I think it could be a code name, Megaman, just Megaman Match. If you don't know, from the Battle Network series, the original game, one of the main, like, bad guys that's really notable, I think he was also pretty big in the anime, which I haven't watched, to be honest, but is a character named Mr. Match. And Mr. Match is like, he's the guy who basically has Heat Man. But, yeah, I'm just, this is a stretch, like I said. It's just me kind of holding out hope that maybe, like, it's a code name for a Battle Network collection. Mega Man Match, you do a lot of matches in the game. I don't know, maybe that's crazy. But then my backup to that is the two probably more realistic things, if it is Mega Man Match. And that is, I'll go with the least realistic, but, more probable than my Mega Man Match, like, Battle Network thing. And that would be, like, the possibility of a new, like, offshoot game. And I mean, like, Mega Man Soccer, maybe Mega Man the Power Fighters. I mean, all these can kind of group into a match, right? Like a soccer match, a one-on-one match when you're doing, like, a fighting game. So, I don't know. Those are a couple interesting ideas. And the third, probably more realistic, if it's not a code name and it's not an offshoot game, is some kind of mobile game. And I only say that because, like, that Mega Man X Dive thing is out, which I have not looked into and don't want to. But I would really hate that. But, I don't know. What do you guys think below? Like, the Mega Man Match is so, like, ambiguous. Like, what is it? This is going to be another short one I'm going to talk about, but it's very exciting, and that's Dragon's Dogma 2. Like, have you played Dragon's Dogma? Like, Dragon's Dogma is so good. I actually have an inside joke with my friends where, like, Dragon's Dogma is, like, basically, like, we just, are imagining, like, the Capcom boardroom, right? All the directors, everyone's in there. And I might have said this on the channel already, but either way, I'm gonna tell the kind of inside joke again. All these Capcom board members sitting around the table, they're looking at Skyrim. They're like, man, Skyrim's a pretty good game. Pretty solid game. But, how come no super combos? That is Dragon's Dogma. I mean, like, this game is like the Western RPG, but like with just like crazy, like Devil May Cry-esque over-the-topness, Like in a regular Western RPG, you shoot a fireball. In this game, you make a fire tornado, and it has like a lot of Shadow of the Colossus feel, where you're like climbing monsters and like taking them down. It is cool. My one thing that I really want from the Dragon's Dogma 2, so if you play the original Dragon's Dogma, you make a character and then you make like an AI partner. And you can also summon 2 more AI partners to have a team of 4. Now, the 2 that you summon can belong to your friends. Like, it's basically their partner, and you can, like, trade items and get gifts that way. But, I mean, to me, next-gen experience, Dragon's Dogma 2, instead of you and 3 AIs, it'd be cool if it was you and 3 friends. I'm talking 4-player co-op Dragon's Dogma would be amazing. But, I mean, let me know what you guys think below. If you're a Dragon's Dogma fan, like, let's scream this to the high heavens. Let's be like, hey, if this is coming out, do it right. 4-player co-op. What do you guys think? And the last bit here is basically these 4 Resident Evil games. I mean, the first 3, we could speculate all day, so there's like no point in really, talking about them. Resident Evil, Outbreak, all these things. It's probably, different. They're different remakes, obviously. Apocalypse we don't know anything about, right? So Outbreak and 4 would obviously be remakes, but Apocalypse we don't know really anything about. Maybe it would be some kind of multiplayer-centric Resident Evil. But the one that really stands out to me, and like I don't think anyone's realized this, but they should, is the last one, Resident Evil Hank. I was actually watching a video about this earlier, and someone was like, Resident Evil Hank, like, where's that, Hank who? Like, oh man, so stupid. So, you know the character Hunk, right? He's like part of Alpha Team, you know, from Resident Evil 2. We basically know zero of his backstory. If you actually look up like the Wikipedia, you know, he's called Hunk in America or whatever, but like in Japan, you know, he has like a Japanese name which like translates directly to Hanku, or you know, Hanku. So obviously it's a game about him. Like that's just what it is. Like, I'm sorry, that's what this game's gonna be, which is cool because like these are the guys who went in to try to like steal the stuff, right? Like they like went into the hive to steal. So we don't know anything about this like Spec Ops group, and it's gonna be a game about them. Like that is super intriguing. Like I think that is cool because I mean like these remakes are awesome. Like Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake were beautiful, they're amazing. Resident Evil 4 remake I feel is like super unnecessary, especially because you can literally get that game like anywhere and it doesn't look bad. Like it just seems pointless to remake that game. But like this is what I'm talking about when we're talking like a new Resident Evil. I mean Resident Evil 8's gonna happen, Village, and we don't know. That's gonna be cool, but like I like the idea of going back to these old games and getting like a new perspective and a new backstory. But what do you guys think? I mean, do you think Resident Evil Hank like is gonna be about Hunk, or do you think Resident Evil Hank is gonna be about, you know, King of the Hill, like what's his name said? Anyway, that's going to do it for the Saturday news video, the Capcom leaks video, if you will. But, you know, I always like to ask you guys a question at the end of these, and I think mine this time is going to be, you know, with all these Capcom leaks, and this obviously isn't everything, and who knows if these are even true, to be honest, but if Capcom was to leak something like that you wanted, what would it be? Now, for me, it's stupid, dummy, obvious, you know, Mega Man Legends 3. Like, I'm going to say that forever. But Mega Man Legends 3, yeah, I would like them to be like, hey, Mega Man Legends 3 is coming out. But hey, what about you? If you're a Capcom fan, what game would like you would love to see leak out with this crazy thing that's going on? Hey, that's going to do it for us today, guys. Thanks again so much for watching. You guys have made this channel grow so much in the last little while. We're really steadily making our way to 3,000 subscribers. So if you aren't subscribed, please do. It'd be really awesome. You know, give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, comment down below anything we talked about. And hey, as always, take it easy.